1 Samuel chapter 9. The story of Saul. There was a man from the tribe of Benjamin whose name was Kish. He was the son of Abiel, son of Zeror, son of Becherah, son of Aphiah, a valiant Benjamite. Kish had a son named Saul, a handsome young man, who had no equal among the Israelites, for he was a head taller than any of them. It happened that the asses of Kish were lost. So he said to his son Saul, "Take one of the servants with you and go and look for the asses." They went all over the hill country of Ephraim and the land of Shalisha, but did not find them. They passed through the land of Shaalim and the land of Benjamin, but the asses were nowhere to be found. When they reached the land of Zuph, Saul said to his servant, "Let us go back, lest my father be more worried about us than about the asses." But his servant said to him, "Look, there is a man of God in this city. He is a highly respected man. All that he says comes true. Let us see him, for he may be able to help us find what we are looking for." Saul replied, "But if we go, what can we bring him? We have no more bread in our sacks, and we have no present to bring to the man of God. What do we have?" The servant answered, "I still have with me a quarter shekel. I will give it to the man of God to tell us which way to take." Formerly, people in Israel who went to consult God would say, "Come, let us go to the seer," because at that time the one who is now called a prophet was called the seer. And Saul said to his servant, "Well said, come, let us go." So they went to the city where the man of God was. Samuel meets Saul. As they went up the hill to the city, they met some girls coming out to draw water and asked them, "Is the seer here?" The girls answered, "Yes, there he is, straight ahead." "Hurry now, he has just arrived because they have a sacrifice today on the high place. As soon as you enter the city, you will find him before he goes up to the high place to eat. The people will not eat until he comes because he must first bless the sacrifice, and then those who are invited may eat. Now go up, you will meet him immediately." So they went up to the city, and as they entered it, they saw Samuel coming out towards them on his way up to the high place. The day before Saul came, the Lord had already told Samuel, "Tomorrow about this time I will send you a man from the land of Benjamin, and you shall anoint him to rule over my people Israel. He shall save my people from the hands of the Philistines, for I have seen the affliction of my people, and their cries of anguish have come to me." So when Samuel saw Saul, the Lord told him, "Here is the man I spoke to you about. He shall rule over my people." Saul approached Samuel in the gateway and said, "Tell me, where is the house of the seer?" Samuel answered Saul, "I am the seer. Go up ahead of me to the high place, for today you shall eat with me. In the morning before you leave, I will tell you all that is in your hearts. As for your asses that were lost 3 days ago, do not worry about them, for they have been found." Samuel added, "For whom is it the first place in Israel destined? Is it not for you and for all your father's kin?" Saul answered, "I am a Benjamite from the least of the tribes of Israel, and my family is the lowliest of all the families of the tribe of Benjamin. Why do you speak to me this way?" Samuel took Saul and his servant, brought them into the hall, and gave them a place at the head of the table before some 30 guests. Then Samuel told the cook, "Bring the portion which I ask you to set aside." The cook brought the leg with the tail portion and set it before Saul, saying to him, "This had been set aside for you. Please eat." So Saul ate with Samuel that day. Then they went down from the high place and entered the city. On the roof they prepared a bed for Saul, where he lay down to sleep. Samuel anoints Saul. Early the next morning Samuel called to Saul, "Get up, for I must send you on your way." Saul got up and began to walk down the street with Samuel. As they were going down to the outskirts of the city, Samuel said to Saul, "Take your servant to walk ahead. You stay here for a while, and I shall give you a message from God." 1 Samuel chapter 10. Then Samuel took a flask of oil and poured it on Saul's head. He then kissed him, saying, "The Lord has anointed you to rule over and to lead his people Israel. You are to save them from the power of the enemy surrounding them, and this will be the Lord's sign to you that he has anointed you as prince of his heritage. After we part, you will meet 2 men by Rachel's tomb at Zelzah in the territory of Benjamin. They will say to you, 'The asses you were looking for have been found.' Your father is no longer worried about the asses, but is now anxious about you and what might have happened to you. Further on, when you arrive at the oak of Tabor, you will meet there 3 men going out to see God at Bethel. One will be carrying 3 kids, another 3 loaves of bread, and another a skin of wine. They will greet you and give you 2 loaves of bread which you are to accept from them. After that you will come to Gibeath Elohim, where the garrison of the Philistines is. At the entrance of the city you will meet a band of prophets coming down from the high place, and a choir with harp, tambourine, flute, and lyre going before them, and they will be prophesying. Then the Spirit of the Lord will seize you. You shall prophesy with them and will be changed into another man. Now when these signs are fulfilled, do whatever seems good to you, for God is with you. You shall go down to Gilgal ahead of me, and I shall join you there to offer burnt offerings and peace offerings. Wait there 7 days until I come and tell you what you have to do." As soon as Saul parted from Samuel, God transformed him into a different person, and all the signs Samuel mentioned to Saul were fulfilled that day. Upon entering Gibeah, a band of prophets met Saul. Then the Spirit of God seized him and he began to prophesy with them. Those who knew him and saw him prophesying with the prophets asked one another, "What has come over the son of Kish? Is Saul also one of the prophets?" One of them exclaimed, "And who is their father?" This therefore became a saying, "Is Saul also one of the prophets?" When Saul finished prophesying, he went home. Saul's uncle asked him and his servants, "Where did you go?" Saul answered, "To look for the asses. When we could not find them, we went to Samuel." His uncle said, "Please tell me what Samuel told you." Saul replied, "He merely told us that the asses had been found." But Saul did not tell his uncle what Samuel had said about the kingship. Saul is elected king. After that, Samuel called the people together before the Lord at Mizpah. He then spoke to the Israelites. "Thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, I brought Israel out of Egypt, and I delivered you from the hands of the Egyptians and from all the kingdoms oppressing you. But you have this day rejected your God who saves you from all your calamities and your distress. You have said, 'No, give us a king to rule over us.' So now present yourselves before the Lord, grouping yourselves into tribes and clans." Then Samuel made all the tribes of Israel come near him, and when they cast lots, the tribe of Benjamin was chosen. He made the families of the tribe of Benjamin come near him in clans, and the clan of the Metrites was chosen. He made the members of the clan of Metrites come near him, and the lot fell to Saul, son of Kish. They looked for him but could not find him. So they asked the Lord again, "Did the man come here?" The Lord answered, "He has hidden himself among the baggage." They ran to fetch him, and when Saul stood before the people, they saw that he was a head taller than the others. Samuel spoke and said, "Do you see the one the Lord has chosen? There is none like him among all the people." And all the people shouted, "Long live the king." Samuel then told the people the rights and duties of the king. He wrote all this in a book and presented it before the Lord. Then Samuel sent all the people home. Saul himself went to Gibeah with those valiant men whose hearts God had touched. Some evil people, however, remarked, "How can this man save us?" They despised Saul and brought him no gifts. Psalm 116, Thanksgiving for recovery from illness. I love the Lord, for he has heard my voice of supplication. Because he has inclined his ear to me, I will call on him as long as I live. When the cords of death entangled me, the snares of the grave laid hold of me. When affliction got the better of me, I called upon the name of the Lord. O Lord, save my life. Gracious and righteous is the Lord, full of compassion is our God. The Lord protects the simple. He saved me when I was humbled. Return, O my soul, to your rest, for the Lord has been good to you. He has freed my soul from death, my eyes from weeping, my feet from stumbling. I will walk before the Lord in the land of the living. I have kept faith even when I said, I am greatly afflicted. I said in my dismay, no one on earth can be trusted. How can I repay the Lord for all his goodness to me? I will lift up the cup of salvation and call on the name of the Lord. I will fulfill my vows to the Lord in the presence of his people. Precious in the Lord's eyes is the death of his faithful. O Lord, I am your servant. I am truly your servant, your handmaid son. You have freed me from my bonds. I will offer you a thanksgiving sacrifice. I will call on the name of the Lord. I will carry out my vows to the Lord in the presence of his people, in the courts of the house of the Lord, in your midst, O Jerusalem. Hallelujah. Luke chapter 19, verse 1 to 27. Jesus and Zacchaeus. Jesus entered Jericho and was going through the city, and a man was there named Zacchaeus. He was a tax collector and a wealthy man. He wanted to see what Jesus was like, but he was a short man and could not see him because of the crowd. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore tree. From there he would be able to see Jesus, who had to pass that way. When Jesus came to the place, he looked up and said to him, Zacchaeus, come down quickly, for I must stay at your house today. So Zacchaeus hurried down and received him joyfully. All the people who saw it began to grumble and said, He has gone to the house of a sinner as a guest. But Zacchaeus spoke to Jesus, The half of my goods, Lord, I give to the poor, and if I have cheated anyone, I pay him back 4 times as much. Looking at him, Jesus said, Salvation has come to this house today, for this man is also a true son of Abraham. The Son of Man has come to seek and to save the lost. The 10 pounds. Jesus was now near Jerusalem, and the people with him thought that God's kingdom was to appear immediately. So as they were listening to him, Jesus went on to tell them a parable. He said, A man of noble birth went to a distant place to have himself appointed king of his own people, after which he would return. Before he left, he summoned 10 of his servants and gave them 10 gold coins. He said, Put this money to work until I get back. But his compatriots who disliked him sent a delegation after him with this message, We do not want this man to be our king. He returned, however, appointed as king. At once he sent for the servants to whom he had given the money to find out what profit each had made. The first came in and reported, Sir, your coins have earned 10 more coins. The master replied, Well done, my good servant. Since you have proved yourself faithful in a small matter, I can trust you to take charge of 10 cities. The second reported, Sir, your investment earned 5 more coins. The master replied, All right, take charge of 5 cities. The third came in and said, Sir, here is your money, which I hid for keepsaking. for safekeeping. I was afraid of you, for you are an exacting person. You take up what you did not lay down and reap what you did not sow. The master replied, You wicked servant, I will judge you by your own words. So you knew that I was an exacting person, taking up what I did not lay down and reaping what I did not sow. Why then did you not put my money on loan, so that when I got back I could have collected it with interest? Then the master said to those standing by, Take from him what I have given, and give it to the one with 10 coins. They replied, But sir, he already has 10. I tell you, everyone who has will be given more, but from him who has not, even what he has will be taken away. As for my enemies who do not want me to be king, bring them in and execute them right here in my presence.